The Los Angeles Chargers host Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football here in Week 14. My name's Tyler here with my brother Ryan. We're going to break down this game and provide our predictions at the end. So be sure to stay tuned, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button. Get notified when new videos come out. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the month. Let's see if we can make that possible. And Ryan, let's get into it here.
Let's do
Justin
it.
Herbert led the Chargers to a victory with one hand today as he has a broken bone in his left hand, his non-throwing hand. He's going to get surgery tomorrow, but he is looking like he's still going to try and give it a go for this Monday night game against the struggling Philadelphia Eagles, who lost on Black Friday to the Chicago Bears. And I this Eagles offense is very interesting. It's they did lose some pieces, and Lane Johnson is hurt as well on that offensive line, but the offensive line is nowhere near the same. I think we all expected some fall off from like Saquon Barkley, and not even just Saquon Barkley, but more just the running game. But was uh, it had been shocked honestly on their struggles. It seems just offensively as a whole. If I go look at Philadelphia as of right now, offensively, and I don't have their numbers up from last year, but the 27th in total yards offensively, 25th in passing, 28th in sorry, that's the Steelers. That makes sense. Oh, okay. Well, they're a little bit better than that. 24th in total yards per game, 22nd in passing yards per game, and 21st in rushing yards per game. It just offensively they've dropped down so much, and they're going to be going up against a Los Angeles Chargers team that also has a banged up offensive line as well. But his defense though is still really top notch. Third in total yards allowed, second in passing yards allowed, 14th in rushing yards allowed, and they have 34 sacks on the season. So Ryan, what does Philadelphia need to do to right the ship and try and get back into Super Bowl winning form?
Yeah, I mean, is it simple? Is it too simple to say they need to get better on offense?
Yeah.
uh, I-
What do you think they need to do on offense?
they just haven't been nearly as dominant in the trenches this year as they were last year, and some of that, like Mekhi Becton moving on actually to the Chargers themselves, and then just injuries have kind of piled up. Cam Jurgens, Lane Johnson, like you said, there as well. They just haven't looked as dominant in that area. And I think when you look, the running game is so dependent on that offensive line getting so much push. And I also think too, you look at the Kellen Moore moving on offensively as well. They're trying to get guys, ready there as well to be in that play caller role, and it just hasn't, stacked up for them this year. I think some of the passing deficiencies as well when you don't have a top 5 running game, which, to be fair, when you have Saquon Barkley and this offensive line, I think you fully expect to have a top 5 running game. But when the pressure is put on Jalen Hurts in this passing game to be extremely potent through the air, they just have not been able to sustain a consistent level of productivity in that facet of the game. And so for me, I think just they're losing in the trenches, which is causing this run game to be not nearly as effective as it was last year. And then passing wise, Jalen Hurts is just not efficient enough with the football there,
Yeah.
which I don't know if that's a Jalen Hurts issue. I don't know if it's a schematics issue or what, but that is something I think that they've really struggled with this year. And the Chargers, I think, while I feel like that they've really been inhibited by injuries, I still feel like they're a really well-rounded team. I think you go look at their offensive line specifically. You lose Joe Alt, you lose Rashawn Slater to season-ending injuries, and that they really have struggled in that area. But defensively, they've picked it up. They're a top 10 defense in terms of yards allowed. And this offense, Justin Herbert is making do with this offensive line, partly because they have a really solid collection of weapons. Quentin Johnston, Keenan Allen, Lad McConkey. Omarion Hampton is hopefully coming back for this game as well. But Kamani Vidal has been holding it down in his absence. He had another long run today for a touchdown. So, they've been kind of making things work here for the Chargers. Despite all of the injuries that they faced.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Justin Herbert, and just I think who he is as a quarterback, I still think just like pound for pound, I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. But if you go look at his career, I feel like he's just constantly dealing with injuries. When he was when the whole team was healthy and the Chargers kind of offense was in their prime as well too, like in those Brandon Staley days, it was also prime Patrick Mahomes, and they just kept losing those super close games. And
Yeah.
Brandon Staley kept making bonehead decision after bonehead decision. But now it's these past couple of years struggles with the offensive line. But to your point, though, really do like the weapons that they're building around him as well. We've even seen it too during this stretch. Um, just him connect as well with guys like Rondé Gadsden, who's younger. You got Lav McConkey that's
Yeah.
developing as well too. You have guys like Quentin Johnson, who I mean his rookie year he was just an absolute meme for unfortunately just how awful his rookie year was, but he has developed as well too, and then makes me excited then too for guys like that they draft like Trey Harris as well too, guys that are super athletic, very similar build. If you could just give them time to develop, so this is where I really like what the Chargers prospects are offensively over these next couple of years, but what they've been able to do just to sustain, kind of offensive relevance and still something that defense had to worry about. It is still impressive. They're going to have a very tough challenge this matchup here against this Philadelphia Eagles defense, who statistically they do give up a lot of yards. Yes, especially too if you play the Bears and they run the ball all over you. But as they gave up 281 yards last week, but still though, star-studded, I think Philadelphia Eagles defense that they're going to have to worry about. It's going to have a really good secondary. Jalen Carter up the middle is still going to be a challenge for anybody, really. And I think that's going to be something that they're really going to have to worry about, even if it's Justin Herbert or if it's Trey Lance. And so, on the flip side, though, too, I feel very confident with this Los Angeles Chargers defense. Um, Against how the Philadelphia Eagles have been playing. I think the biggest thing for me when I watch and the offensive line personnel pieces moving on and the injuries have played a big part in it. But then on top of that, though, too, I think you kind of started to touch on it a little bit, but just Jalen Hurts has just looked off. I thought he missed some throws, a little bit loosey goosey with the football, both in the passing game, but also the running game as well too. That has hurt the team. And maybe it's a combination of everything. Maybe it is a new system that he's getting used to. But even to feel like the throws and the touches are just not there as well. Maybe he's a little
Mhm.
bit skittish just because of the offensive line downward turn. So like he's got to be more aware of where the defensive rushes are at because it's more likely he's going to get hit. Last year, he didn't have to worry about getting hit at all unless if he was doing
No.
a tush push or if there was like a design QB sneak. That offense and that offensive line last year was amazing. So I think one of the things here, like for this game, it's just how is Jalen Hurts and this offensive line, how are they going to slow down this defensive front, with Deshaun Hand, Jamar Caldwell. You got Tuli Pelotu. I think I
Yep.
got it.
Yep.
Hey, I've been practicing. You got a really good front seven. You got a Jim Harbaugh led defense. I think that's going to be very interesting. And the same question can go towards Los Angeles as well too. But for me here, barring Justin Herbert starts, even with the broken hand, he was still able to come in, and I think he even still threw a touchdown pass with that broken hand. I have to go back and
Yeah.
double check when that touchdown pass was.
He did.
But
I believe it was like a little screen or like a check down to the running to the whichever running back was in at the time. I forget,
money,
but
dude's a Hall of Famer. No one else can do that. But still, though, I still think that's since it's not throwing hand, he's a super tough dude. I think he'll. I don't think it will affect him too much. I say that very Monday morning quarterback. Me, this fat guy in the armchair, like, oh, he's got a broken hand. He'll play. I bet he'll play better. And so, no, I'm just joking. But I still think it's going to be fine in general if he's able to go. And so I say with that, I'm still going to have the Chargers go and win this game. I just think that they're just on an upward turn. While when watching that Philadelphia team as well, it did kind of remind me. I think I've said this in the past on videos, but it reminded me of the Chiefs team from last year. Like offensively, just really lost, really struggling just to move the ball. Feels like putting any points on the board is just so much energy. While defensively, I still think they're one of the top defenses. I know they give up some yards, but you still go look at their performances. They're not giving up too many points at all. It's like they lost to the Cowboys, yes, but they only gave up 24 points. Actually, the most they've given up, they gave up 34 points to the Giants in week, what was that? 2, 4, 6, in week 6. Well, that's it though. 25 to the Bucks, and that was a wild game. 26 to the Rams, and that was in the first half. So it's like, but since that 34-point performance, they've only given up 24 points at most, and that was in their past 2 weeks. So,
Mhm.
I think it's going to be tough for the Chargers to score, but I also think too the Eagles are going to make it tough on themselves to score.
Yeah. I think it's going to be tough, I think, for both these offenses in this game. I think it's going to be relatively low scoring.
Yeah,
And obviously, if Justin Herbert plays, I'm picking the Eagles. But I was going to pick Philadelphia. But honestly, just after thinking it over, this offense is really struggling. This is a really good defense that they're going up against in the Chargers defense. And I just think with the weapons that the Chargers have, I think it just favors the Chargers a little bit here in this matchup. Uh, I like what the Chargers have going for them. I think that they're really trying to make a wild card push for for the playoffs, and they're not out of the division race either. And they still have a few big games coming up here as they play Denver one more time and the Chiefs one more time. Uh,
hmm
so for me, I think it's going to be this is a really big matchup for them. They can get to 9-4. One more win for them would almost lock up a playoff spot as
I
they
wouldn't
have a
say
tough
that.
schedule.
Yeah,
I said almost. If they get 2 more wins, I think that well, I guess they're at
it
8-4. Sorry.
it depends on who the
Yeah.
wins are against. So
Yeah.
to your point here, so they got Philadelphia here on Monday night. They're at Kansas City in week 15, at Dallas week 16. They
Yeah.
host the Texans, and then they're
And then they're
at
at
Denver.
Denver.
Yeah, they have
So,
5. They have 5 straight away games here coming up. That's a joke because they have two home games left, but they're all away games for the Chargers, being in LA, which is very sad and unfortunate. But it depends on who they beat. If they get to 10 wins, but they beat the Eagles and Dallas, I think that's a worst case scenario because
yeah.
then they would lose a lot of tiebreakers to the Chiefs, Texans, and Broncos, who they'd be fighting for the division and also the wild card spot for. But we'll have to wait and see. And then on the flip side, though, too, for the Eagles, I don't really talk too much about the Eagles' kind of playoff like stature or whatnot, but they're only a game and a half up on Dallas, and Dallas is playing a lot better right now. Well, than Philadelphia, who just beat them, and so it is interesting because if Philadelphia wasn't winning the division right now, they would be on the outside looking in, because the San Francisco 49ers are 9-4. So you are getting into very interesting territory here with Philadelphia here, and with Dallas playing extremely well, and they have a relatively easier schedule the rest of the way compared to Philadelphia. This is a big game overall, but they're all big games now. But
Yeah.
this one in particular, it's one like try and right the ship. It's not like you're going to lose anything within the conference, but this is one though. Quarterback's got a broken hand. It's like it's going to be a unique environment. There's going to be a bunch of Philly fans here on the road, so it's going to feel like a home game. But if they can somehow figure out a way to win here on prime time, huge momentum going into the final month of the season.
Yeah, no, this is a big one. While it will not affect their conference records, both these teams need these wins to kind of short things up. But with that said, let's go ahead and wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this cross-conference matchup. Will it be the Philadelphia Eagles? Will it be the Los Angeles Chargers? Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.